Guest now is Arkansas Congressman Rick Crawford, chairman of the House Intelligence Committee. Congressman, I want to take advantage of the fact that we have an explosive ordnance disposal technician joining us now. I know that was your job in the Army a long time ago, but Nate was just talking about cluster bombs. There's, these are dispensers and payloads. Basically, it's a projectile or a bomb or a missile that opens up and turns into a lot of little ones. Problem there is the indiscriminate nature. There's some questions over laws of war and how this should be used only on a battlefield rather than, obviously near civilians. Do we have intelligence that this was an option, that they may use this? And do you see any surprises so far with what you've been briefed on?
Well, the fact that I haven't been briefed on that, but the fact that they're using those in urban areas tells you all you need to know about these savages. What we know about cluster munitions, as you know, they've been used for years. The Russians used them against the Afghan mujahideen back in the 80s. And children go out there, pick them up. They look like toys. They look like pieces of candy on the ground, and they're just terrible. And I've been against these cluster munitions for a long time. And as a fellow EOD tech, the problem that presents in clearing those munitions. Exactly. In a tactical environment, but even more so in an urban environment, how would you go about even clearing that and the damage that could ensue as a result of it? So big problem. It is very telling that they are willing to use cluster munitions against civilian targets and in urban environments.
Certainly. Chairman, I want to bring it back home. In our earlier hour, we talked about the protests here in New York City. You've got people in the streets proudly saying that they support terrorists and other horrible, awful, monstrous things that they're saying, just in plain sight. They don't care who hears. So my question is, we've got DHS defunded. We've got Democrats who don't look like they're willing anytime soon to fully fund it because they want to die on the hill of illegal aliens, I suppose. How concerned are you for the Homeland, especially given what we just went through this past week with the terror attacks and the terror plots? It doesn't feel good, especially if you're in a big city right now.
Well, y'all have probably observed this over the last year or so since I've been chairman. I've been beating the counterintelligence drum pretty steady and even ever more loudly because it's so important that we don't allow these counterintelligence threats. Our domestic space now, the United States, the Homeland, is contested space because of the persistent threat that exists in counterintelligence. And it's now accelerated and elevated as a result of this action in Iran. We know that they have a huge network of activists. What we know, there are probably somewhere in the neighborhood of 30 million Shiites that are religiously associated with the current regime in Iran. And that allows them to project power in asymmetric ways. And we're not immune from that here in the United States. And so we're seeing some actors that are taking action in ways that indicate a high degree of sympathy with the Iranian regime. Obviously, some that are saying they're affiliated with ISIS and others. But these are mostly proxy states that have been handled and funded by Iran for a generation.
Mr. Chairman, I want to ask you about a report a few days ago from CNN. I'm going to quote here. This is a CNN reporter saying that top Trump officials acknowledged to lawmakers during classified briefings that the administration did not plan for the possibility of Iran closing the Strait of Hormuz in response to this attack. I know that your colleague, your counterpart on the Senate side, forcefully pushed back against that. It makes absolutely no sense to me that would not have been planned for, but that is what someone leaked to CNN, and they rushed out and reported it. What do you know?
Well, I have to be careful about how the language that I use here, but that is complete and utter BS. Because what we know, and Joey's sitting there at the table, he'll tell you this. This is such a basic concept. All you have to do is open up a map of the Persian Gulf, and you can see just geographically that the Strait of Hormuz presents a strategic choke point. Now, when you combine the economy as all oil driven there, it makes total sense, right? I mean, we've known this for decades. This is not new. This has always been a contingent. It's always been talked about going back prior to 1979. So the idea that they would plan military action without any kind of contingency or understanding of what could happen in the event that the Strait of Hormuz might be closed down is utterly laughable, and somebody over there needs to lose their job over reporting that nonsense.
Mr. Chairman, can you share with the American people any sense of a timeline that this war will take to get to a point where the White House might say, this is now complete? Because, of course, Americans are feeling nervous about the terror attacks on our homeland, the rise in gas prices, the instability with the economy. So is there anything that you can share with the American people to settle people's nerves a bit?
Yeah, I think, obviously short-term, long-term here. In the short term, the military portion of this activity has been just spectacular. You mentioned the strikes on Karg Island. Those were 100% precision military targets. They didn't do any damage to the economic targets at all, and that was by design. And so they're keeping that lifeline available to the Iranian people and giving them the opportunity to come in and reclaim their country and engage in self-determination on their own terms. That's great. Beyond that, what's the exit strategy? That's a good question. What's the exit strategy for Europe? We're still there post-World War II. We're still there making a huge economic impact. And I would say that if we weren't there, not only would they be vulnerable, but their economy would collapse because of the footprint that the United States has. So we're probably always going to be present to some degree in the Middle East. It's just a question of what that presence looks like. But the military objectives have been clearly defined. And, you'll see that probably those military activities will decline as the president determines that those objectives have been met to his satisfaction.
Chairman Crawford, before I let you go, you're an Army soldier, you're a veteran, you're an EOD technician. You serve as chairman of the House Intel, but I know you're well aware of what our military is conducting and doing right now. Obviously, we've lost 13 heroes so far, 6 on this refuel. I'd love for you to take a moment just to talk about how dangerous every movement that's happening right now and the scale and just how in awe we should be of our military right now. Yes, we've lost 13 souls, but just the amount of troops in the region of offensive operation and just how successful it's been and just how much we should be in awe of those men and women.
Well, first, let me say every warrior knows you prepare for war, you pray for peace, and they go into it understanding that. And let me say this about these KC-135s. I don't think people fully understand the nature of that mission.
Yeah.
But as an Air Force brat, I actually got to fly in a KC-135 from England to the United States, and they refueled a flight of F-111s, and I got to be right down basically on top of the guy that was flying the boom. You have no earthly idea the nerve it takes to do that and how dangerous it is. And those planes can just fly right out from under you, one little mishap. And I don't think we give these individuals enough credit. Warriors across the spectrum, the contribution that they make can't be understated. And, we absolutely send the condolences to those family members who lost their loved ones in service to this nation. But I don't care what you do in the military. You're providing an invaluable service to secure this nation and our allies.
Well said.
Chairman Crawford, thank you so much for joining us tonight. We appreciate your service in the Army and continued in Congress.
You bet. Thank you.
Yes, sir.